Hi there, everyone. This presentation is going to be about Hiking Your Gear, Hiking Clothing Edition. My name is Paige, and yeah, we're going to just jump right into it. Oops. Okay, there we go. So what we will be covering tonight is the different materials that are used to make hiking clothing, what they all are, what they do, the pros and cons to some of them, as well as my personal recommendations. Then we're just going to kind of be jumping into the different layers of clothing you're going to want. So we'll be covering the base layer, your basic head to toe, what you should have, mid layer, and outer layer. So let's hop right into materials. Yeah, so materials or fabrics to try. The first one is wool. So a lot of people associate wool with kind of itchiness. However, today there is something called merino wool, which is not itchy. It's actually super soft. It's very breathable. It's moisture wicking. The price for it is quite reasonable. It's quick to dry and doesn't hold odors. So wool is super common in socks, as well as hats, gloves, sweaters or sweatshirts. So that is one fabric that hiking clothes are typically made out of. Another is polyester and nylon, or some sort of synthetic blend. So these are super affordable. They're sweat wicking, they dry super fast. And a little added bonus is that a lot of them are made from partially recycled materials. So not that that has anything to do necessarily with how they are hiking clothes, but that is definitely a bonus. The only cons of these is they can tend to hold odors more so than those other natural materials such as wool and some of the other ones that we're going to cover do. Next is fleece. So yeah, fleece is something that most of us are common with like fleece sweatshirts or even like fleece pants. So it's super warm, again, sweat wicking, highly breathable. It repels water and actually retains much of its insulating properties when it is wet. So an example of this is a while ago, a couple years ago, I was doing some canyoneering, rappelling through some slot canyons in Utah. It was actually snowing and super wet within the canyons. So by the end of the trip, I was completely soaked. And it was March, so it was still quite cold. And but I was wearing fleece. I was wearing like a fleece sweatshirt on top, along with some other layers, as well as fleece pants with some other layers on bottom. So I was actually able to stay pretty warm despite that top and bottom being completely soaked with water. So fleece is an awesome option for a couple of the different layers. Finally is silk. So silk is super soft and it can be wicking if it's treated to do so. It does not, however, have the best durability. If you're hiking on trails and you're wearing silk, it could easily get caught on something and tear. However, it is a great option to layer on when you are sleeping. Next is cotton. So cotton is one of the most common materials, but it should not be used at all to wear while being in the outdoors or hiking. A super common saying in the outdoor community is cotton kills. So why is it so bad to wear when in the outdoors? Well, cotton absorbs moisture. So when you sweat or get it wet for whatever reason, it becomes super heavy and it loses its ability to stay warm. It is also bad at regulating body temperature and has a very long drying time. So for example, if you're wearing a cotton t-shirt and you're out and you're hiking and you're getting all sweaty, it's really warm, but then later at night it becomes cooler and you're not moving around as much, that sweat is just going to be absorbed by the cotton and you're actually going to get super cold and your body temperature will drop drastically. So a lot of the other materials I discussed in the previous slide are great at regulating body temperature, so they will not do this. Overall, cotton will not be able to keep you warm, and in dangerous situations, if you're wearing cotton clothing, it could lead to or at least escalate your chances of getting hypothermia. So we definitely want to avoid cotton. If you get anything out of this presentation, I just hope you get out that you should avoid cotton as much as possible when you are recreating in the outdoors, especially when you're hiking, backpacking, or doing any sort of camping. So getting into layering a little bit, there's a saying out there that's pretty easy to remember, and that's if you can't dress smart, dress wise. So WISE is an acronym to help you remember what you should be wearing in those layers. So starting with W, W is for wicking. You should have a non-cotton moisture wicking base layer. Again, this is just to help regulate your body temperature, as we kind of previously talked about, and to wick away any moisture from sweat or whatever it may be on you. So next is I. I is for insulation. So this layer is meant to provide warmth in colder climates. Again, this layer may not always be necessary, especially if you're hiking in a hot climate or during like those hot summer days. The insulation layer may not always be necessary, but it is good and important to keep it in mind. S is for sheltering, so this can protect you from anything, including wind and precipitation. It could also protect you from any, I guess, like wildlife or flora and fauna in the area, such as bugs, or maybe plants with thorns or spikes. For example, if you're hiking through Arizona, with all the cactuses there, you may want an external layer to protect you, especially on your legs or wherever it may be, from being scratched up by that. Finally, E is for extra. So always carry extra layers for you for emergency situations. For example, you never know when you're gonna end up in a scenario where you kind of get caught out. For example, maybe you get caught out at night unexpectedly, and you don't have a warmer layer. Carrying extra layers is just a way to prevent this, especially always carrying a rain jacket with you or some sort of sheltering layer, because you never know when you're going to get caught in the rain or the wind or anything like that. So yeah, E is just carry extra layers for emergency situations. Great, so next we're going to talk about the different kind of layers a little bit. I apologize, the slide got a little misformatted when I uploaded it to Blackboard, but hopefully you are able to read most of it. If not, I'll be discussing it as we go through. So the first layer you want to think about is the base layer. So this layer is just all about undergarments. So starting with the basics, underwear. Yeah, choose basically whatever style underwear you're most comfortable in. Avoid cotton, and also if you're someone who runs into issues with chafing, definitely recommend finding some sort of underwear or short that will help protect against that, just so you don't have to deal with that uncomfortableness when you're out in the outdoors, when you're hiking or backpacking or whatever it may be. Next, onto bras. Pullover sports bras typically work best. Again, it is really about whatever you're comfortable in, but most times bras with like metal or clasps on them tend to rub and can lead to uncomfortable situations in the long run. Next is like a tank top or a camisole. So this can serve as an insulating layer when it's cold, but it can also be worn on its own when it's hot. So maybe you're out on like a longer hike and you start in the morning when it's chilly and you have all your layers on, but by the afternoon it's super hot. It is nice to be able to take off layers and just have a tank top or a camisole on at the bottom to stay cool. And then just base layer, bottoms and top. So this is basically kind of like long underwear. So anything, again, that's sweat wicking, moisture wicking, and helps to regulate that body temperature is what you want to look for. So there are different kinds for different temperatures. For example, lightweight ones when it's warmer out, as well as heavier ones for the colder climates that you may be going into. So next we're going to talk kind of about head to toe, what you want to wear. So starting with the very top of your head, hats. So you definitely want to have a wide brim hat. This will protect you from sun exposure, but it can also be used in scenarios when you're out in the rain to keep it off of your face. Baseball caps do work, but a lot of times they don't protect the back of your neck from sun exposure. So that's definitely something you want to consider when you're looking for a hat, as well as wool or synthetic hats for cold conditions to keep you insulated. So of course, just like a winter cap when you're out in the cold. Also, if you're doing any camping or backpacking or any overnight activities, wearing one to sleep will help you stay warm. It'll prevent any heat loss through your head. So definitely recommend that as a way to help you stay warm on those chilly nights. So next, just kind of on to like basic shirts that you want to wear. Any sort of wicking t-shirt or long sleeve top that's suitable for the temperature that you're going to be in. So again, it could be long sleeves for a colder temperature or just a t-shirt for a warmer temperature. But again, as I've stressed many other times, stay away from cotton when you're choosing one. Next is gloves, so synthetic or fleece gloves for colder days or early mornings or at nights when you get going or just ending is great to have. Again, just helps you stay warm and retain that body heat in those situations. Next, we're going to go to pants, shorts, or both. So yeah, zip-up or convertible pants are great for those situations where you're going to be going out in the morning and it's still pretty chilly, but by the afternoon it's super hot. Having ones that kind of pants that zip off into shorts are a great option for that. However, they aren't necessary. Again, any short or pant that is not cotton is great. Again, you also are going to want to stay away from like jeans or materials such as that. Look for quick drying fabrics. The ones we have already discussed are awesome. As far as yoga pants or leggings go, they can be okay depending on the material. If they are synthetic material, that's great. Just be cautious that if they are not specifically designed for hiking, they may not be the most durable. So if you get snagged on something on the trail, they do have a little bit more of a tendency to rip than pants that are made for hiking would. Finally, footwear. Just look for some sturdy hiking boots as well as warm, quick-drying socks. I'm not going to go too in-depth into footwear just because there have been already a video made on picking your gear hiking footwear. That can be found on the UW-Milwaukee Facebook page if you are interested in that. And that goes into depth on the different types of hiking boots and shoes, as well as the different types of socks and sock liners. So again, you can check that out on the UW-Milwaukee Facebook page if you're interested. Great, so next we're going to go on to the mid layer. So this layer is specifically there to keep you warm. So this is typically like a fleece jacket or like a puffy insulated jacket or vest. So yeah, a fleece jacket is great. We already discussed the pros and cons of fleece, and they can be made to be different weights. So selecting the weight depends on the temperature of that day. It's a great way to ensure that you're going to stay comfortable, not too warm, not too cold throughout the day. Again, fleece pants are an option as well. They may not be necessary if you're going out on a warmer day, but on those chillier days, they are an awesome way to keep yourself warm and insulated. And finally, a puffy jacket or a vest, like the one in the picture, is also a great way to stay warm. So when the weather gets a little bit colder, a down jacket will help you stay super warm. They're also very lightweight, so you can take them on and off and carry them with you if you get too warm. Yeah, so again, the mid layer is really just there to keep you insulated and keep you warm. Finally is the good old outer layer. So the outer layer, kind of as we discussed before, is the same as the sheltering layer. It's there to protect you against the elements, essentially. So a rain jacket, having a good rain jacket is essential. Make sure it has a good hood on it. That'll protect you against the water, as well as rain pants. Rain pants are great to always have with you, but especially if you know that you're going to be going out on a rainy day or a day where there's chances of rain. Windbreakers are also great. Of course, they're used as protection against wind chill. A lot of times rain jackets and windbreakers are kind of a two-in-one deal. So it's a great idea to kind of shop for that. This layer is basically your first defense against protecting yourself from hypothermia. It is the most external layer. It's going to keep all that water, all the cold from the wind off of you. So it really is that first layer of defense for you. So that's why it's important to always have a good rain jacket or windbreaker with you. These layers can also, as I mentioned previously, protect you from flora fauna. So whether that be like plants with thorns that might be along the hiking trail, or even like bugs that would bite you, such as like mosquitoes or horseflies. This is great to have. Oftentimes they're a lot lighter than those like mid layers are. So if it's like a warmer day, but you're still concerned about those things such as bugs or plants, they're great to have to protect you from that. Yeah, so that just about sums up the presentation. I hope it was informative to you. Again, if you get anything out of it, I hope that you remember not to wear cotton the next time you are planning on doing some hiking or backpacking or whatever it may be in the outdoors. If you have any questions, feel free to message us on Facebook or leave a comment. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.